Comrades and comradettes, welcome to devlog number 1 for unnamed Muso mech game that is ripping off Armored Core 6. I wanted to go ahead and try out this devlog thing and see if it were a solution to help keep myself accountable. So welcome to our journey. So where are we starting from? We've got some AI that I wanted to use a plugin called Behave for, which I've linked in the description. We've got a finite state machine, an FSM, if you will, for our player character, as well as several weapons. We've got some bases to capture. Once you capture them, they'll spawn turrets, which make your new territory more defensible. A lot of the basic stuff. I know one of the core principles that I wanted for this game was I was telling my dev group, my buddies, that I really wanted to make sure that the player's hands never left the triggers. And once Armored Core 6 came out, once I started playing that game, I was thinking to myself, this feels great. And I wanted to continue on that track. So where do we want to be in terms of these milestones? Not the hugest fan of the concept of sprints, borrowed from the corporate world, and looking at open source projects, I really enjoyed the concepts of milestones. So I want to rework the AI that are base oriented to not swarm around bases, but instead the area in which the bases reside. Currently, it ends up being more of a jumbled mess, of which creates a little headache when I'm trying to get in the boss to spawn in. Instead, it just so happens that the boss keeps spawning on top of the base. And so, I look in a lot of Muso games, and, you defeat a bunch of the mobs that are around the base, and the boss will spawn in basically in the center, right? You don't see the mobs crashing in around the base. They're spread out around the area in the base, as it were, and you see them plugged in to that meter going down for you to capture that base. So here's a small demo of how it's working so far. The system I'm using to implement AI changes is the Behave plugin. I like this one a lot. The documentation for it's quite simple. And it was a little difficult to figure this video out since it was geared towards 3.5 GDScript and we're in 4.0. So the only real difficulty really comes in when I did not know how to do inheritance in Godot. And by the way, I would do inheritance very sparingly in Godot. They even say so in their docs, or at least around the sphere. I think Godot really benefits from a lot of composition, the concept of composition. But having used Behave for a while, it's really grown on me. It's a way to order sequential tasks in a more palatable way. The only difficulty I'm having so far really is understanding when not to use signals to break and divert the enemy behavior tree without building too many dependencies. Since the modules are supposed to be reusable, and you build too many dependencies, once you take out that module, everything stops working around it, and the module stops working itself. Sure, it may be overkill, but writing boilerplate code like in the player state machine over and over again made me want to rethink on how I approach this problem. In the meantime, though, I will keep the player as is while experimenting on the enemies. I'm aiming for these updates to be done on a week-to-week basis, may have to adjust based on other responsibilities, but I will try, mark my words. So, comrades and comradettes, until next update, das Lasagna.